remember earlier when I mentioned keeping guests here front of mind? Well, we've acquired a big stretch of land since then, and this park needs a transport system that works for its visitors. My vote? The Cretaceous Cruise. We will need to carve out a route for the tour to follow, but I'm sure our guests will love it.
I'd ask if the sauropods would have a problem with it, but they're pretty much gigantic walking snorkels. What's a bit of deep water to a neck like that, right?
All right, park builders, we're back in part 2 of the Sichuan Basin here in Jurassic World Evolution 3's campaign. Last time we added a couple of our sauropods, so Mosasaurus, Patagotitan, Apatosaurus last time. This time we've got a start to the Cretaceous Cruise, and then lagoons. Well, we'll have one lagoon for today. Going through here, though, I will have the Cretaceous Cruise started, but it's not going to be fully built out today. It's more just a mode of transportation. It's nothing pretty yet. We'll get to that on another build on another day. Today is just about getting through the Sichuan Basin so we can go through the rest of these parks, and then later we'll go through and 5-star them, add all the dinosaurs, and make it look pretty. This area has a lot of storms that come through, so we keep going and turning the shelters on and off throughout the time. But really want to try to put a little bit of time into this space over here. And then this is where we will take the Cretaceous Cruise. But no dinosaurs over here yet. I still haven't done all the research for all these, so we'll get to those another time, but not today. Again, today it's just going to be a mode of transportation, but for now I get to keep it going. We're just going to make a quick loop of the cruise so that it doesn't yell at me for it being incomplete. We'll put a generator on the side so that I don't have to worry about the power going out yet. And then we'll take the sand path back to the rest of this.
Turns out this place is getting some attention as the go-to spot for giant dinosaurs, and I love attention. So, when I heard that a humongous marine reptile had been caught in the ocean, I skimmed a few funds and bought it. I know, I'm amazing.
This might be an obvious question, but where exactly will it live?
Not
Right
to
here.
state the obvious
That's where it's
right
gonna live.
back, but that sounds like a you problem. Come on, you're an ecologist, and we have the best habitat building team around. But
Aggressively amateur. We are aggressively amateur. We're not professionals.
Now.
Well, okay then. I guess we put together a lagoon before a marine reptile arrives on our doorstep.
So we'll put the lagoon over here, and I'm not actually timed on this one right now, so I'm gonna put in a restroom over here because we didn't have one before. It's kind of important for guests. And then we will eventually, I'm going to take out the side of this here because I want the fence will stay, or some of the fence will stay, but I do want to have it so that guests can come around the side here to walk over to that lagoon. But we'll get to that in a bit. Right now we need to first put in the lagoon. We need to have 6 sections. We're going to do a couple more than 6.
They say you can never have too much of a good thing. And with this delivery, I guess we'll find out if that's true.
All right, and then we've got Mosasaurus coming here in just a minute. And by a minute, I mean 5 seconds. So we are generally ready for it. And so it'll pop in here and we'll just place it. Both of them. Place both of them down. I don't think this is enough room for multiple.
Animal. We should make sure that it's comfortable in its new home.
Good thinking. Comfortable dinosaurs stay where they're put.
It's a marine reptile. Evolution doesn't work that fast, Mr. Finch.
You know, the modern ocean is a tough place for prehistoric animals, especially giant ones. Unfamiliar ecosystems, no guarantees on reliable food sources, temperatures that they never evolved for. Marine reptiles need our support if they're going to adapt. So, it's time we extended the breeding program here to our aquatic guest of honor.
This all seems like a very bad idea because there's no way that a Mosasaurus, 3 Mosasaurus, can fit in here comfortably. So it says 6. You're probably gonna need like 10, and I don't have space for 10. Slash, I'm not using space for 10. So we're gonna use the 8 or so that I used. That is a pretty color for a Mosasaurus, though. I definitely don't hate that. So with multiple Mosasaurus, we need 2 shark feeders. We'll put them at the top here. And then we will connect our Cretaceous cruise through this little blip of water to the side here, and that's where people can row on up over to see the Mosasaurus. And then again, you'll also be able to walk on the backside of the Patago Titan enclosure as well. So we'll put a power station over here, and I'm gonna add a generator as well because I think that it looks fine over here, and so I don't care if it's not perfectly functional or it's overly repetitive, but I'm doing it anyways. And then we'll put our nest for our Mosasaurus in one of these corners here. And then we will put power over here so I don't have to worry about generators everywhere, just a lot of the spaces, but not everywhere. So I'll have this going on both sides of the Cretaceous cruise now. And then connected on the back side here where I'm not gonna have as many buildings over there. And then, like I said, we're not gonna put a ton of dinosaurs in here with the Cretaceous cruise today. It's mostly just a mode of transportation. Later, when I get more dinosaurs like the Therizinosaurus, we'll put them over in that space over on the left where we should have more land to play with. And I think that'll be more fun for people to go through and see some of those larger dinosaurs over there. So we got both of our Mosasaurus. And then I'm going to put a viewing gallery over here so people can look at the baby dinosaurs. Baby Mosasaurus. Don't at me. Baby Mosasaurus over here. I think that'll be fun. And then I realized, because I don't read very well, that the Mosasaurus does not like the nest being watched. So that's a problem. Which I kept failing, so we're gonna have to move it over here away from people so I don't have to see the baby dinosaur, baby Mosasaurus. And then now I'm gonna move the shark feeders that we had over at the top. We're gonna move them over here to where the viewing gallery is now, so that the viewing gallery makes sense and I don't have to move it. And then we will just play with some of the fencing on the sides of this. It's not really holding in a dinosaur right now. It's more just the aesthetic of it and having things to make people feel secure, but it actually doesn't really do anything. But now we do have our baby Mosasaurus.
We want our guests out of pocket, not out of breath, huh? Now, get more transport in the park and make sure that those guests are having a good time.
This was where I started to decide I was going to break the game, or I was going to not do what I'm supposed to. But the baby Mosasaurus can't use the shark feeder, so it needs to have a marine fish feeder. We'll put it over on the side with the nest, so it feels like the baby Mosasaurus has to stay near the nest until it grows up. With comfort, we need to put in some shelters and some other buildings and amenities, and I was able to put the shelter in through a little bit of the fence, and I was okay with that, so we did it. And then eventually I will change these amenities and make them look more unique and different, but to just move things as quick as possible, we need to move those amenities, and so I'm just making spaces and notes that I need to update the visuals and what these look like and get into the modular building a little bit more later for those. And then on the side here with the Mosasaurus, I got lucky where I felt like the hatchery slid in really nice next to the Cretaceous cruise. So I'm going to keep that. And then I need to make the path on the side of the Pataga Titan enclosure so that it can go all the way around to the lagoon for people that don't want to take a cruise, don't want to be in the water, but still want to go see the Mosasaurus. So we have that going, and that'll eventually connect like it does here to the rest of the park. I have a ton of maintenance vehicles or maintenance needs right now, so to make it simple and easy, we're going to put in another maintenance vehicle, and then I thought about putting in a viewing platform here, but it just didn't make sense for what we were trying to do. And then I needed to widen the paths because that's what you always need to do for guest comfort, and there were too many people for these paths to go working with. And so I played around a ton with just trying to get the guest comfort and the transportation up as fast as I could, as effectively as I could, without putting in the monorail, because I don't think monorails make sense for this park. And so I made a larger hotel up by the lagoon for the Mosasaurus. That's going to stay. That will be another space for guests, if we have guests at a sanctuary, to come over and see the dinosaurs. And then we stick the generator in the back, away from the public, but accessible to the staff for us to use. And then we just fill in, like we do with every lagoon space, fill all of this in with path, because this is going to be more like a deck of sorts, or a patio, a lagoon space. I can't think of the word right now, but it's going to be full of just path for people. It's a concrete jungle next to a jungle. But I did get impatient. I felt like the game was trying to box me in and tell me I needed to use the monorail. So I caved. I included a monorail for a moment here. That was just enough to get the transportation
You,
rating
my
high
friend,
enough.
are the brightest star in the entertainment sector's sky. Well done. And I tell you, that doesn't come easy. It takes someone who truly appreciates the value of exhibiting these incredible animals for education, for entertainment, and always doing it with the dinosaurs' best interests at heart. You're one in a million. Glad to have you on our side.
Like we said, I'm going to completely destroy this monorail because that's not in the dinosaurs' best interest.
Finch, explain to me why you saw fit to buy a huge marine reptile without consulting me? Or the client?
Well, I got one heck of a deal on it. And I knew the client liked giants, and we had a whole conservation thing going on. You don't want to ignore marine reptiles, do you?
Let me be clear. I do not like surprises. But the client is happy. Yes, they are trying to solve the very real problem of finding a space in the world where large animals can thrive. And they were impressed by the breeding program put in place.
Wait a second. This isn't a dressing down, but congratulations?
It can be both. Now, do not become complacent. This conservation park may be doing well, but there is far more hard work to be done.
Hard work is my middle name. Okay, it isn't, but I'm sure it's someone's middle name around here.
There's a couple things I wanted to do to just clean up things before I left it. And so I'm going to go through just one of my quicker speed builds. So with that, I'll leave you alone for like a minute. like to use a lot of the fences on the sides here for the park. And I needed to build in a little bit more on the sides here so that all of our paths feel a little more enclosed and away from... These are just they're stupid guards. They're stupid people guards. So we're gonna put in a couple stupid people guards here and extend them and play with this space here before we wrap up, and we will get moving on to our next park or area location. It's technically not a park either, so we will be getting on to that one shortly, but needed to play a little bit with the terrain and some of these spaces here to include some spaces. Even if they don't function, technically you can't actually go there. Like, the guests won't go there, but I will take my own walk over there another time. If you've enjoyed this, if you've enjoyed watching us put together this park here, feel free to like or subscribe or comment, whatever you do to support. Always appreciate it. Getting a little bit better every single time with these, and constantly working on just making it so that we have these parks that are interconnected throughout the world. I really enjoy this campaign. I think it's a ton of fun. I think it's incredibly addicting, and I'm okay with that. Going through the campaign is always a ton of fun, but I also like being able to go back later and actually build out the rest of these parks, put in all the decorations, add more dinosaurs into those. So we'll go back here to the Sichuan Valley, or Sichuan Basin, another time. As today we are just going through, and I had to put a couple things in here before we will get back to it again on another time. I'm just taking a maintenance vehicle to check out our enclosure and drive through it a little bit. I like to do this every now and again, so we're popping over, checking out the Pataga Titan. We started this with just 2 of these, and we have now a full herd of them that have just naturally bred here, which is really cool. Super fun to watch these grow. At one point I thought about naming all the dinosaurs, but with the number of baby dinosaurs in this, that was going to become incredibly unmanageable. So with that, I'm just going to share a couple things as we did here, and I will see you on the next build.